So you're doing everything right. You work hard, you get paid. You put money into your savings account every month. You watch the balance go up 5,000, 10,000, maybe even 50,000. And you feel safer. But there's a problem. Your money might be getting poorer while your bank account's getting bigger. And the crazy part, your bank doesn't need to steal a single dollar from you. You can lose purchasing power simply by leaving your money sitting there. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how that happens and what you can do instead. This is what I like to call the $10,000 illusion. Imagine you have $10,000 sitting in your savings account. You check it a year later, you now have $10,300. You made $300. Feels good, right? But here's the question almost nobody asks. What can that $10,300 actually buy? Because money isn't valuable simply because the number on the screen gets bigger. Money is valuable because of what it can buy. If the price of the things you need is rising faster than your savings account can grow, you are losing purchasing power. Your account can say $10,300 while your money is effectively worth less than the original $10,000 in terms of what it can buy. That's the first trap. A bigger balance doesn't mean that you're getting richer. Inflation is a silent tax. As you can see, over the course of the past few years, prices have been steadily increasing, and in some cases, rapidly increases. Inflation means that over time, the purchasing power of your dollar can decrease as the prices of goods and services increase. Think about something that cost $100 several years ago. Today, that $100 might not buy the same amount of stuff. And here's where savings accounts become interesting. If your savings earns 1%, you're watching what your money can buy. And because your bank balance is still going up, it's easy not to notice. The bank isn't the villain. Now let's clear something up. Your bank isn't necessarily doing anything wrong. In fact, banks exist partly because they take deposits and use that money within the financial system. The problem is that you have to understand what your money is earning compared with what you're giving up by keeping it there. A savings account has an important job. It's supposed to give you liquidity, accessibility, and relatively low risk. That's valuable. But those benefits come with a trade-off. Cash is designed for stability, not necessarily long-term wealth creation. And that's a distinction that can completely change the way you think about money. Here's one of the biggest mistakes people make. They create one giant pile of money and call all of it savings. Emergency fund, savings. Vacation, savings. Money for a house in 10 years, savings. Retirement, savings. Money they won't touch for 30 years, also savings. But those goals are completely different. If you're going to need the money next month, you probably care more about safety and access. If you won't need the money for decades, you have a completely different problem. You need to think about growth, and that's where investing enters the conversation. Savings and investing aren't enemies. They're tools for different jobs. Savings is generally about protecting money you expect to need relatively soon. Investing is about putting money into assets that have the potential to grow over longer periods, while accepting that the value can go down, sometimes dramatically. Think about it this way. Savings protects your short-term future. Investing can help you grow your long-term future. The mistake is using one tool for everything. Now, let's talk about the reason that matters so much. Compounding. Imagine you invest $10,000 and purely as an illustration, suppose it earns an average of 7% per year over a long period. You don't just earn money on your original $10,000. You can potentially earn returns on previous returns. After 10 years, $10,000 would grow to roughly $19,700. After 20 years, roughly $38,700. After 30 years, roughly $76,100. That's without adding another dollar. And this is why time is so important. The goal isn't to find some magical investment that makes you rich overnight. It's giving productive assets enough time to potentially compound. Of course, real investments don't provide guaranteed returns. Markets go up. Markets go down. Some investments lose money, and 7% is an illustration, not a promise. But the underlying mathematical idea is incredibly powerful. Here's the real cost of playing it too safe. Let's imagine two people. They each have $20,000. Person A leaves everything in cash. Person B keeps an emergency fund in cash and invests a portion they don't expect to need for many years. Now imagine 20 years pass. Person A still sees a large number in their bank account. Person B has experienced market crashes, good years, bad years, and plenty of uncertainty, but they've also given their money the opportunity to grow. Here's the important part. Person B didn't necessarily take more risk with every dollar. They separated the money based on its purpose. That's the difference. So, should you empty your savings account? Absolutely not. Please don't take this video as cash is bad. Cash is extremely useful. If your car breaks down tomorrow, you lose your job, your roof starts leaking, or you're suddenly having a major medical or family expense, you don't want to sell investments in the middle of a market crash to pay a bill. That's why an emergency fund exists. The goal isn't to have zero cash. The goal is to avoid having all of your long-term wealth in cash. Here's a better way to think about your money. Instead of thinking, how much money do I have? Start asking, what job does each dollar have? Bucket 1, short term. Money you may need soon. Emergency expenses, upcoming bills, near-term purchases. This is where liquidity and stability matters. Bucket 2, medium term. Money for goals that are several years away. Here, your strategy depends heavily on the exact timeline and how much risk you're willing to tolerate. Bucket 3, long term. Money you don't expect to need for many years. This is where diversified investments may make more sense for many people because you have more time to ride out market volatility. The exact allocation depends on your situation, but the principle is simple. Give every dollar a job. Here's the question I want you to ask yourself. Is my money growing faster than my cost of living? Because watching your savings account balance increase can feel like progress. But wealth isn't just about a number. It's about purchasing power. It's about future options. And it's about whether your money is working towards your goals. A person with $50,000 in cash isn't automatically more wealthier than a person with $40,000 invested in a healthy emergency fund. You have to look at the whole picture. And this brings us to something important. When people hear that cash may not keep up with inflation, they immediately start looking for the next big thing. Crypto, day trading, options, real estate, some guy on TikTok promising 40% returns. Don't do that just because you're afraid of inflation. The solution to one problem isn't automatically another risky investment. Building wealth is usually much less exciting. Earn more, spend less than you earn, build an emergency fund, avoid destructive debt, invest consistently, diversify, give it time, repeat. Boring can be incredibly powerful. So is your savings account keeping you poor? Not necessarily, but keeping too much of your long-term money in low return cash can prevent you from building wealth over time, especially when inflation is higher than what your money earns. Your savings account isn't the enemy. It's just a tool. Use it for what it's good at, which is protecting money you need to access. Then think carefully about what you want your long-term money to accomplish, because there is a huge difference between saving money and building wealth. And the sooner you understand the difference, the more time your money has to potentially work for you. Your bank account tells you how much money you have. Your financial strategy determines what that money can become. And it's about that time. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you're notified every time I make a new post. Until next time.